Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Jim Hodson. I'm here with Brittany Spragans, the director of our museum operations, and Ben Guttery, who's our collection manager. We're going to show you just a little bit about some of the things that have come into us over the last few months. We know that COVID has been horrible for a lot of people, but we found that there's a bit of a silver lining in it, at least here, and that we've had all kinds of things that have been coming into us for the collection. Britt, why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that's here in front of us right now?
We've gotten a large influx of books, manuals. We've also gotten a lot of uniforms. Here is our pallets, basically, of large boxes of books that we've gotten.
Some F-16 parts. And so what are we going to do with all these magazines and books?
If we do not already have the books and they fit in our collection scope, we will keep them and eventually accession them and send them into our library. And if they are not, we will usually swap with different museums, different collectors, that kind of thing.
Because we've just gotten a lot of stuff recently. I guess people have had time to clear out, go through their closets and their garages and things like that, and they've come up with a lot of things for us. Here's some aviation equipment. I guess we've gotten some prints too, haven't we?
Yes, we've gotten quite a few pieces of art behind these boxes. Are more art. There's a piece right there. It often comes from people. They're going through their attics, they're going through their parents' stuff, and then who knows what we're going to find.
Well, it's good for us, but now we've run into a situation where everybody can see a little bit. When we moved in here about 10 years ago, none of these shelves were here for one thing, and we didn't have hardly any of the collection issues that we've got today. As we move around the room here a little bit, on the shelves now, box after box after box of things, and that's all been pretty much cataloged, hasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, and what do we do in terms of cataloging it? What does that mean?
For cataloging, basically, we use an electronic system called a collections management system, and
It's okay.
and we enter everything into the computer. It's a large system. We get condition reports. We get information about where it came from, who gave it to us, who's held it in between those two times, how it was made, all of the materials in it, pretty much any information we can get out of an object.
Okay, and then we've got some kind of labeling on this, so we've got an idea from the collection software of where it is and what box. We've got, for instance, we've got row 6, shelf 2. So we've got designated areas that match up with what's in the collection software, right? Mm-hmm. And so here's other things that we've got. Some big pictures. There's an engine. We're starting to get a lot of clothing too, aren't we?
Yes, quite a lot. A lot of pilot's jackets, a lot of party suits, a lot of coveralls.
Okay. So let's get back here. Let's see what Ben's got that he can show us now. Partly the reason we're going through this today is that Tuesday is Giving Day, and our appeal this year is to help us with this. We plan for storage of our collection. We plan for a lot of things. Now, this building is not environmentally controlled, so we have to be very careful about what we bring in here. And so now we've gotten a lot of things lately, clothing and other articles that we want to have out of this building and into an environmentally controlled space. So we've been lucky to find some space. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yes, so the space is going to be in the storage collections of the Military Museum of Fort Worth that is getting a new space right now inside of Ridgemore Mall. It's a 13,000 square feet?
Something like that, a lot of space.
A lot of room to grow.
But they're offering us some space, but we don't want to commingle our collection with their collection, so we need to secure it somehow. So we're looking at putting up some cages so that we can lock our stuff away from everybody else's and protect it that way. So we got Ben here with us again this morning. Morning, Ben.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about some of the stuff that we've gotten in recently?
All right. Some
You're
of the
good.
things we've gotten recently are, in fact, due to folks doing house cleaning. This time of the year, doing some cleaning and getting some things moved out of their house, moved out of their storage. well, there must be a better place for this than at their house or at their storage unit, so bring it to the museum.
Yeah, bring it to the museum, which we've always been very agreeable to, but we are, as people can see here, we are running out of space, and we need to do a better job of it. I mean, part of our goals this year are to be able to put some stuff in environmental space. Another goal is to digitize some things. I mean, we've got what? We've got VHS tapes. What else have we got that we want to
We've got
digitize?
probably hundreds of VHS tapes. We've got slides. Back in the days when people used film in their cameras, we have an amazing collection of slides from the Vietnam War, from an Air Force pilot who loved taking pictures. And so we have a big wooden box of slides. But we'd like to get those scanned so we can enjoy them. Let people see them as well.
Well, when we mention the VHS tapes, it's not copies of movies. We've got a lot of essentially quote home videotapes from people from Vietnam and other things and other interviews, and we don't want to lose that. Britt, can you talk a little bit about the preservation of that stuff and the way it decays? And
Yeah, so essentially anything that was tape or film before we got into more digital versions like DVDs and saving things on hard drives, all are very flammable and they're all highly susceptible to damage, whether it's chemical damage or physical damage. VHSs decay at a rate of like 20% after 10 years, I think, and that really limits the amount of time you have to keep these VHSs. And part of us doing this is so that we can show them to everybody. The more you play a VHS or the more you play tapes and film, especially the older ones, each time it shows up as a little bit of damage. And so this way, when we digitize them, we will be able to show them to everybody instead of having them just in boxes where we protect them.
well, and what we can do with some of them too is put them on our YouTube channel so people can see them. Rick just told us that he's got a bunch of airplane models. Will those do something that we'd want to accept into the collection?
Sometimes we will accept airplane models, and our challenge with airplane models is there are a lot of them out there, and so we're a little more selective. Sometimes people want to see them on display. We definitely can't promise that we can display something, but we can generally find other uses for airplane models.
Talking about airplane models, I'm looking up here above us, and we've got boxes of airplane models up here now, and we're always looking for more good pieces to add to the collection, but we can't just take everything. So, Rick, what I'm going to suggest is that you send us an email and give us some idea of what you've got in your collection, and Ben will take a look at that. And that's one of our other goals this year is that we are very fortunate to have a gentleman named Jack Ballard with us, who is a master modeler, and he has taken a lot of models. Like I can show you a little bit of one up overhead here. I think you're okay, Brent. You can see that it's part of a P-51 model, large-scale P-51 model, and it's awaiting Rick, or it's Rick. I just saw your thumbs up, Rick. It's awaiting Jack Ballard's touch, and we've got part of a B-36 back here too, don't we?
So there's a fuselage of a 1/32nd scale B-36. So when it's probably good 4 feet long, Jack Ballard, our model guy, is working on the wings right now. Although it came to us in great condition, it needed a little repair. It needs a little remarking. We're going to have it remarked and refinished.
Okay.
By Jack. So it looks like an airplane that flew here.
Well, I know Jack has done a B-58 for us, and a Cobra, and a Huey, I think it is, and some other things. It's amazing at the work that he does. And some of these projects take him months to complete. But what else do we have here that we might want to talk to folks about, or what we need some help with?
Well, some of the things that we have are also vertical files that have subjects that you can imagine. And these need to live in a nice storage environment. So you start with the A's and you go all the way through the alphabet on different subjects related to aviation here in North Texas.
Well, I see things like Abilene and Air America and Blue Angel #3, which is our airplane, and a lot of stuff. And what's in the boxes behind you here?
We have more of these types of things that are just being stored. We have just some miscellaneous donations, a box of items from Lone Star Airlines, survival food. So in pilot survival kits, they had food to eat while they were bound and waiting for pickup.
And it's shelf stable, so it can sit here forever.
It'll be here a while, I think. So lots of things that.
Oh, and I'm seeing boxes of VHF tapes up here too.
Lots of VHS back here in storage, waiting for us to decide how we're going to take care of it.
Well, and it's valuable space for us too, because if we can get rid of the tapes and digitize them, then we don't really need to keep the tapes, do we, Britt?
We do not. There might be some use for other organizations to use them. However, the main reason they're so important is we need to get what is on them off and
Right.
into another format.
Right. So speaking of other formats, this is our DVD drawer, and it's full of DVDs of stuff that has been converted, and literally hundreds of DVDs and that have been converted into the storage of imagery that we have.
Okay.
Some are just movies, but some are collections of stuff that have been scanned and are ready to look at.
So now, has all of this stuff been cataloged?
I doubt that all of this stuff has been cataloged.
Okay, so there's still a need for volunteers to help us with cataloging some of these things.
Absolutely, and the extent of cataloging on the vertical files is pretty limited. It's just a matter of file folder name, like American Airlines or Fort Worth Airport. It's to that level. That's about as far as it's gotten. So this is kind of a place where stuff goes when we get like a postcard
Yeah.
of one item. It'll go in a vertical file until it can grow into its own box.
Well, and we're coming into our 23rd year here, so a lot of this stuff I know goes back 23 years. And Britt, in a unenvironmentally controlled space, what's happening to all of this paper?
All of this paper is slowly deteriorating. Out of the 10 agents of deterioration, several come into play in a building like this. There's the risk of bugs, there's risk of humidity, temperature, light, physical damage, chemical damage, all of these things. Paper tends to swell, the cellulose swells like most things do with humidity and the drops, and that makes it more brittle, and it also yellows pages. It just damages it in a lot of ways that can make things, it's irreplaceable and
Okay.
it's irreversible damage.
Well, I know for our expansion plans that we're going to be pushing forward hard next year. We're making room for some of the special collection items, but we've really gotten inundated with things the last few months, and it's exceeding even what we were planning in our expansion with. What have you got there, Ben?
This is a brochure on the F-111. It's called the Versatile F-111. Back in the day, these came out about the time the airplane came out. We probably have a little stack of these, but preserving and showing these documents is one of the things that we do. This airplane was built here, and so we have lots of ways that we tell the story of the F-111. And this is just one of the documents that we try to take care of. And this top shelf here is waiting to be filed.
Okay.
So it's not junk. It's just waiting to go into its proper drawer.
Well, and right now, if somebody came in, and this is one of our goals, that somebody, especially if they make a donation of a particular item, and said, gee, I brought in such and such, where do you have it, or is it on display? We'd like to be able to put our hands on it in quick order and say, well, we have it here, it's not on display, but we have it here. Right now, that's really difficult, but that's something that we're striving towards. part of the expansion plans is to have a special collections area where people can also come in and do research, because the document you just showed us right now, if somebody said, what do you have like that, or do you have this, we would have no way of knowing. So
Yeah, we would have a file of F-111 stuff, and we'd say, here you go, take a look.
So-
So we have boxes of items that come from individuals. That might be a box of items that someone donated or someone in their family donated, and those may all be kept together in a box. And those are kind of behind y'all.
those are like personal collections.
Personal collections, exactly. So we've got people that have done things that were of significance, or they're just unique collections by the things that they've done in their life or career. That all those items are kept together in a box.
Well, we've got some cabinets here with uniforms and things like that in it too. We got
We have lots of uniforms, and
we got something we can show people
yeah,
quickly.
we can just take this first cabinet here. To the
Okay.
house, and so this is one of probably 3 cabinets that are very similarly situated. That we've got uniforms as they were donated, and I don't know. I've been volunteering here about a decade, and I'm not sure I've even looked for these yet.
Yeah, I see Marine Corps uniforms and Air Force uniforms and leather jackets and any number of different things here. And these are items that we want to get out of here, because not being environmentally controlled is not good for the fabric.
Right, and this is hanging vintage clothing is not its ideal way to be kept. So we need to find another way to keep it in a safer environment. And, so we'll continue to work on that. It's something we know we need to.
It's not all just restoring airplanes here.
No, it's not.
I mean, this is actually, in many respects, there's more work here than working on airplanes. But this is not the sexy stuff that people want to do. They go out and hurt themselves working on airplanes, as opposed to helping with cataloging. And Britt, you can tell us this, because we see these all over the museum. It's this little block of wood on a hook. What is that?
Yes, that is a block of cedar. Many people use them in their house. It's similar to the cedar trunks that women used to have when they got married. They keep all the bugs away. They're really good with moths, any bugs that like to eat cloth. We've had a lot of success just implementing those. Our bug populations have gone down quite a bit. However, due to the nature of the building, it's not 100% like we would like it to be. But anybody, if you need to keep some stuff safe, especially clothing, get some cedar blocks.
So this is a fun box. This is a box of flying helmets, old flying helmets, like when you were in an open cockpit airplane and you had a cloth flying helmet, old Navy helmet, original goggles.
Goggles, yeah.
Some really neat items that kind of all went with the flying experience of the day, and they're just all tucked away here, waiting for a little work and restoration, and there's some that may need a little help in preservation. So
Okay.
you've got lots of boxes and lots of opportunities for folks to come out and do some.
Oh, and here's some of the personal collections over here. And again, this is our requests this year for Giving Tuesday are pretty modest. We've got some matching grants that are going to help us reach some of our goals, but we want to be able to put in a cage so that we can protect some of the flight suits and some of those kinds of things that we have in our collection that's going to be stored with the Military Museum of Fort Worth. We want to be able to digitize some of our collection, and we'd like to have some supplies that we can use to help with the restoration of models and that kind of thing. So that's kind of it here for today. I'd like to thank Brittany and Ben for helping out and showing us these things.
Absolutely, we love looking at this stuff.
Yeah, and this is going to go on our YouTube channel, and it's also going to go out with Giving Tuesday. Any amount helps us. Oh, there's another big model. There's another big. Is that a P51 up there?
That's a T6.
No, it's a T6. It's awaiting restoration. All the T6s that were ever built were built right here locally. So again, if you can help us out on Giving Tuesday, any amount helps. This has been the silver lining of the COVID for us, is that we've received a lot of great stuff, and now it's our job to preserve it for the future. So thanks again for showing up here with us today. We hope you had a good Thanksgiving, and we look forward to seeing you in another week. So thanks, folks. Bye.